This is the Roland Juno 60, a 40-year-old analog synthesizer. So, what exactly makes an instrument withstand the test of time? The Roland Juno 60 is a 6-voice, fully programmable, polyphonic analog synthesizer manufactured between 1982 and 1984. It can store up to 56 patches of memory with 7 banks of 8. It has a 5-octave keybed, small performance section, onboard chorus effect. The Juno 6 and Juno 60 were made out of necessity when Roland's president, Iketaro Kakahashi, recognized that the synthesizer market was moving away from analog synthesis. Roland had no commercially viable digital technology, so Roland's response was the Juno 6, released in 1982 with a sticker price of $1,295, an analog synth with digitally controlled oscillators. According to Sound on Sound magazine, the Juno 6 was the first analog polysynth you could carry on stage, switch on, and play with certainty that it would be in tune. The Juno 60 uses the same filter chip found in the Jupiter 8. These are integrated circuits by Roland, the IR3109 ICs. 4 OTA stage 24 decibel filter. So here's a patch on the Juno 60 using the filter self-oscillating, self-resonating to give me like a bell kind of key sound with a little bit of LFO in just to have a bit more movement, no chorus, but it sounds so full already. The one thing about the 60 is it doesn't key track that well with the filter, but I just kind of find a zone that I like and enjoy that. Or you could try and set it as close as you want to see, but it might drift as you go up and down the keyboard. The chorus is created with a Bucket Brigade delay, BBD chip, based on the Roland Dimension D. The chorus can make patches feel massive, but introduce a lot of noise into the signal and make patches start to sound the same. Being a stereo synthesizer, engaging the chorus with the multiple BBDs made the sound even wider and thicker to compensate for the limitations of a single oscillator polyphonic synthesizer. Another feature everyone might not know on the synth is you have the chorus mode 1 and 2, but with both engaged, you get more of like a vibrato effect. So the Juno 60 has some hidden features. It can be turned on in a fake unison mode, which was for engineers to check the voices. You can do this by switching the arpeggio to up, holding down key transpose, and turning on the synth. And that'll stack all the voices, which is good for mono sounds and leads. So since the synth doesn't have a second oscillator, it just has multiple waveforms you can stack together. Here's a patch where I'm using the pulse width modulation of the square wave and the low frequency oscillator, the LFO, to kind of give me some pitch variation on the tone. So one thing I like to do so I can get the sound of two oscillators banging against each other is use the low frequency oscillator, the LFO, and have the rate high and bring it in a little bit. It's nice at a slower pace for like keys to give me like a Rhodes kind of tremolo vibrato sound, and then faster pace when I want something more chaotic. So from a basic square wave, I'm gonna bring the PWM all the way up. So it's really thin now. The LFO rate all the way up. Bring in the other waveforms. Add some noise. And then now bring in the LFO. I think there's reasons outside of nostalgia why there's numerous clones of the Roland Juno 60. Roland even released a boutique version with the JU-06A. Sometimes limitations are strengths. With the Juno 60's simple architecture, no menu diving, it's easy to find, create, make new sounds, and find inspiration. Other positives for the Roland Juno 60 are its build quality, the oscillator tuning stability, the VCF chips, and the VCA envelope chips, which are both out of the Roland Jupiter 8. All the components of the Juno 60 come together to create a cohesive instrument. It looks beautiful and it sounds instantly recognizable. On a synth, sound is the most important thing, not the features. The Juno 6 and Juno 60 receive a lot of love and a lot of criticism. Criticism for being overrated and overvalued. The Juno 60 released in 1982 for $1,795. With a standard rate of inflation, in today's money that's $5,186. The Juno 60 has a resale value now around $3,200 to $5,000 US. In today's synth market, a Juno 60, single oscillator, 6 voices of polyphony, limited feature set to release for $5,000 would be crazy compared to the competition. Another valid criticism for the Juno 60 is that its patches start to sound the same. As soon as you put the chorus on it, it sounds like a Juno. Some people like the sound of the oscillators on the Juno 60, and others dislike the stable tuning of the digitally controlled oscillators. One of my least favorite things about the Juno 60 is its keybed. It has no velocity, so every note's gonna be the same volume. It's great for some things, but for others, it means my playing is gonna be more linear and lack dynamics. So in the desk here, I have an Arturia key step. The Juno 60 doesn't have chord memory, so I'm using the Arturia key step to do chord memory for the Juno 60. Every time someone sees the synth, I feel like they play Van Halen Jump, so I'm not gonna do that. In my studio, I got other Roland synths, some Moogs, and some sequential synths with DCOs, VCOs, and they all have their own character. The filter shapes a lot of the sound. When it comes to the Juno 60, I personally like the DCO sound of the oscillators. Whenever I want to make the synth sound more modern or versatile, I don't even engage the chorus section because it'll sound like a Juno 60. I use stomp boxes, hardware, plugins, guitar pedals, something else to color the sound, give me an extra LFO, anything like that. I'm gonna play a few sounds for you to explore the synth more. Lastly, I wanted to add that we made a one-shot sample pack of the Roland Juno 60 that you can use in any DAW sampler. It includes 64 original sounds. For those of you who would prefer a multi-sampled instrument for Kontakt or other sample players, we'll have those in the future edition. I've always found the synth inspiring to create on and immediately rewarding, so I hope that these sounds inspire and do the same for you.